Like, why not? I don't know what else are we doing?
Jake's like,
gotta go fast.
We've been waiting around.
You're too slow. That's my favorite taunt in all of Smash Bros. Fun fact.
Nice.
Besides, was it fucking Zelda going like, and she's like waving?
I like the DK one where he goes.
What's he go like? Sorry, I missed it.
Nice. So if you didn't realize, audience, by the title of this episode,
I hope the title has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
So Sonic 2 came out a while ago, and it's been sweeping the nation, destroying box office records.
Yeah.
The second best movie of all time. Yeah, I was going to say, behind Morbius, which I think Morbius has the critics' hearts. Sonic 2 has the audience heart. So we're talking about Sonic. The Tough Cut, we are going to pitch our own Sonic spinoff.
Yeah. And
it's going to go really well. Mandatory listening. Listen to Escape from the City.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say this episode is mandatory listening. This is really important for the continuity of the Tough Cut podcast.
Often described as, from our one fucking reviewer as mandatory listening.
Mandatory listening.
That's the only review we've ever gotten. It's on this one.
I actually think people from after this episode are going to categorize the Tough Cut into the before Sonic pitch and after Sonic pitch, because I think this will sort of reinvent everything.
This is the turning point. This is the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as our viewer, do we have to introduce ourselves or some shit?
Well,
I'm totally I'm fully ready.
Hello and welcome back. We're the Tough Cut Podcast. I'm Matthew.
I'm Alex.
And I'm I'm kidding. I'm Jake. I am Jake. And spoilers. Are we even going to be spoiling anything? Probably. We're going to be spoiling our movie that we're pitching.
We're going to be spoiling the plot, I think, of some video games, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah,
that's
video
possible.
Games.
And maybe a Sonic movie.
Jake, what? So, okay, audience, going into this, we agreed, okay, we're going to pitch Sonic spin-offs. So we each brought a character, and we didn't tell each other what the character is. And the idea is we will come up with some ideas of like, hey, this could be in the movie, or this could happen. And the more that Matt and I talked to Jake about this, the more it seems like Jake did not pick a Sonic character.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I picked the character relating to Sonic. Yeah, we said Sonic characters. Look, just because, spoiler, it's going to be the two dudes from the Sonic commercials, doesn't mean that... I'm kidding, it's not that.
Okay. I was going to say, that would be a clever workaround.
Yeah, you should... Their faces both dropped. You can't see them. Now I can see them. Now I can see every time I make a comment that they hate. I can see their disappointment in real time. I haven't been able to. We can't
just go, wait, what was that? Sorry, the audio was cutting out.
I know they hear what I say. I know.
Should we just get into this?
My God. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
What?
Did you fucking pick James Marsden?
I hope so. I hope we picked the man himself.
He may be involved in my pitch, but I didn't pick him. God. He's canon, so,
What does that mean?
I don't know. Matt, why don't you start us off? Are we just going to get into it? How do we want to do this? Let's just introduce your character, Matt.
Yeah. So, in order to pick my character, I did a little bit of, rational calculus by taking 3 different which Sonic character are you quizzes. And well, I come with research and data to support my choice. And
if you don't link those immediately, sorry, I need the links. But yes, please, data.
So I come bearing data, and a definitive first character will be Shadow the Hedgehog.
Knew it.
Hell yeah.
Classic Matthew.
Matt, I wanted you to go first because I really thought you were going to pick Shadow.
Yeah.
And I wanted Shadow to be in this movie.
Right.
Because it's incredibly integral to the story of the character that I am going to pitch.
He's gotta be. And he might be involved in something I got, too.
But Matt, for our audience, why don't you introduce Shadow the Hedgehog?
Oh, yeah, because some people might not know who Shadow the Hedgehog is.
Can I, real quick, Matthew, I clicked on your first test, the BuzzFeed one.
Yeah.
And the second question is, choose a video game power-up you could use in real life. And one of the answers is just coins.
It's awesome.
That's paired with infinite lives, super speed, super strength. And there's just coins. And you picked that one, didn't you, you bastard?
Because I want the power of coins. As long as I've got cash, I can never die, baby.
Oh, that's so funny.
Sick, dude. So, Shadow the Hedgehog. I don't even know where to begin. There's a long and storied history with Shadow. The sometimes antagonist, sometimes friend of Sonic. I believe Shadow was created by Dr. Robotnik using some super evil DNA to make the ultimate life form. So he's basically edgy Sonic, and it's awesome. And sometimes, most notably in his own game series, Shadow the Hedgehog, the one game that there was, he got a gun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like
Shadow got a gun.
Just like a real firearm and
Shadow's
made out with a
got
human
a
woman.
gun. I mean,
and he kills aliens.
That's why Idris Elba, wanted to be Knuckles, because he thought he was getting a Shadow. That's what he read for. He's like, can I please have a gun and make out with a woman? Like in a fucking enchilada, like red jumpsuit. Like, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Do you guys think there was ever a point in the filming of this latest Sonic movie where they were like, let's just try it once where Idris Elba is just in a red morph suit?
Dude, I hope.
Just so that
I hope they try it once.
I think they probably did it a few times just so Marsden had someone to really like play off of, because that's how you get some real gold.
Yeah.
Alex. Coins.
Would you like to share with us who you selected?
Yeah. So I did not do any like tests or anything. I Googled Sonic characters and found the funniest one that I could pick.
Oh, I'm hoping.
No. Oh, okay.
So
right.
My character is named Mephiles the Dark.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
And he's the primary antagonist in the video game Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
Yep, Sonic 06.
Yeah.
He is the malevolent conscious mind and will of the sun god Solaris.
Yep.
Mephiles was born during the Solaris Project, when the experiments on Solaris split him into Mephiles and Iblis. This character's story is absolutely fucking buck wild. He was sealed in a like staff of power and then gets released on accident, and then he kills Sonic.
Yeah.
And then Shadow goes back in time and seals him back in the rod, and then he's released and he has a big fight with Shadow, Silver, and someone else. He convinces people they need to kill Sonic, so they try to kill Sonic again because Sonic is brought back to life. It's
amazing.
Absolutely wild. This character is ridiculous. Shadow goes back in time and kills him. So I think this will be a great fit.
I think that sounds perfect. So what do you? So we've got like a great setup here. Maybe it's an enemies to lovers kind of situation.
Also, a very important note, because I'm assuming none of you know what Mephiles the Dark look like. I would like both of you. I don't know if you've done any Googling already.
I Googled.
Okay, Matt, what do you think Mephiles the Dark looks like?
Well, Alex, I have watched
at
least one playthrough of Sonic 06 before.
You've heard of Mephiles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for our audience, he is essentially Shadow.
Yeah,
except instead of the red at the end of his hair, it's like a pale bluish purple. And he's got like weird like gauntlet claws, no feet, and no mouth.
Yeah.
And he floats around.
Wild. I really think, with these games, they get pretty lazy sometimes. It's wild because, like, I think they focus so hard on, like, you gotta go fast in a Sonic game that you lose a lot of the, what are we doing here? What are we making? Yeah,
in the biographical overview, it says that he is aged 10 years old.
Yeah. Because he's been sealed away for 10 years and then they kill him when he gets released.
God,
my God. How old is Shadow?
Well, Shadow got frozen in time and like, cryo-froze.
How old is Shadow for the purposes of this? Because I really want to play with ages.
Let me check the
I don't like that.
The Sonic wiki.
Shadow, since Shadow was created to be the perfect being of like dark power, I think he can live basically forever.
Yes. So, according to the Sonic Universe wiki, Shadow the Hedgehog is physically 15 years old, but age 50 plus.
Ooh, okay.
Because he got frozen in time.
Okay. Okay, so we're dealing with an Aang, or if you're a Manite fan, an Ong situation here.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, for all the Manite fans out there.
Yeah. Bring us home. Who's our last character?
I like to scare you guys. Mine isn't even that bad.
It's probably just gonna be like Big the Cat.
Nope, I picked the Chao.
Hell yeah,
Chao.
Okay.
I picked the Chao, and I was thinking of like a Milo and Otis situation where we make it gritty real life and we like animate them into like the real world, a la Pokemon Go or some shit. Like that's my vision. I want the Chao, those little gremlins, the dark side of them. I want to know what's their day to day like. What do they got? Well,
so you just want Dark Chao because
I
played Sonic Adventure Battle too, and I know that Chao can be good, dark, or neutral.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's it's a gross simplification of what they actually are. I want my Chao in this movie to show you that there's more to it than that.
There's shades of gray to everything.
Yeah.
So 50 Shades of Chao, if you will.
I would make it rated R, honestly.
Wait, okay, guys, I just want to make a broad pitch. What if this movie follows a Chao as it's growing up, and its parents are Shadow and Mephiles, and you see everything from the Chao's perspective, and over the course of this Chao's life, Shadow and Mephiles are like fighting and like breaking up and getting back together. And you see how it affects this Chao personally because it's the main character.
So,
and maybe there's a scene where Chao and Mephiles have steamy sex, and the Chao catches them.
Well, again, we gotta just for our listeners. For our listeners. That's why I wanted to play with age, because I want them to be not that age.
We gotta age them up.
We're aging them up.
So it's counterpoint. Aging them up. Counterpoint. Two things. One, first, love the idea of a Chao POV. I think this should be sort of like a like experimental hardcore Henry kind of thing, where it's literally shot from a first person perspective as the Chao.
Right. It'd be
I think that would really play with the form and cause the audience to like question a lot of their assumptions. Second, I agree with aging up Shadow and Mephiles.
Thank God you do.
Actually, we should stick to the canon. It needs to be historically accurate to the Sonic canon.
But I don't know if I'm sold on Shadow Mephiles rate like a story of parenthood. Like I don't know if I'm sold on that yet.
Okay.
So either maybe like really convince me, or if Jake, you've got another thought on like how we can really shake this up.
Well, no, I got caught up thinking of aging them up. Because I want to see what are they like when they're like, are they retired? Are they retired and are like Chao like are they retired? What how like I'm showing a lot of what I know here, but how in Naruto, like for the Boruto series, my guy, titular character, he fights a lot, does a lot of whatever. He's in a wheelchair in that shit because it was too much for him and he was running too fast.
I love it. I love it. I'm back on board.
But I want
Mephiles in a wheelchair because this takes place after
in the Sonic franchise. Because what do? They run.
Okay, so
and you're
instead
in a
of deciding to kill Mephiles, they just beaten him, broken him,
legs.
left him a shadow of his former self, tenderly nurtured back to health, and now they're raising
guys,
the Chao.
and maybe that's the title of the movie. Maybe the title of the movie is just Shadows. Ooh. What if Mephiles is in like an old folks home and Shadow's like going to visit him, and the Chao is
Shadow's son?
Yeah.
Wow, goosebumps.
And then we can have old person cameos of other Sonic characters.
Well, the Chao work in the home. Like, it's like you also see the behinds of the scenes of like what adult home.
So we're truly, I think, challenging the form in terms of filmmaking and nonlinear storytelling.
Exactly.
The perspective of storytelling, because in this proposal, if I'm following Jake, the Chao is unrelated. They just work at the retirement home.
Yes, but they feel like family because they've been taking care of him for so long, and they're like, Mephiles or whatever. he doesn't view these motherfuckers as family. He's very bitter about it, but he has to learn they're not so different. You can't run anymore. You're in a fucking wheelchair, Mephiles. Like, maybe you do got a little more in common with the child than you
I think two things. One, Shadow the Hedgehog is the ultimate life form, doesn't age. So he looks the same as he always does, but we see all these other Sonic characters looking so old.
Yeah, that's hard.
And then two, what I like about Mephiles as a character is that his story is inherently tied to time travel. So we get the option for like some fun time travel gimmicks of like, oh, Mephiles is an old man, but is this in the past or the future? Like, Shadow's here, but which Shadow is it? Because Shadow always looks the same.
Right. And he could be visiting the one who could be visiting him is the one who broke his legs. And guilt's a powerful thing. It's true. You know?
So I think what centrally ties all of this together, because inherently, like, we've got like a lot of nonlinear structure, interestingly, a POV character that's not the main character of the story, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And like that becomes what our one anchor is through this story. It's almost like you could you could get really experimental with it and replay what is essentially the same meeting between Shadow and Mephiles, but the only way we know that time is progressing is because the Chao is changing, you know?
Yeah, what if, okay, so it's from the Chao's perspective, right? So what if the only touchstone we have of like how the what's happening in the home and like the relationship is through how the Chao looks, because the Chao like turns dark, light, neutral, stuff like that.
Ooh.
So like based on like how these fights or these like interactions are going, we then see glimpses of the Chao and we know like, oh, this is when things in their relationship are really, really bad. And this is when it's getting better and better and better.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're going the Logan route, and we're
and of course we're going the Logan route.
Of course we're going the Logan route. I think we introduce a kid. I think not a Chao, not a whatever. I think one of them has a long lost kid or someone who visits frequently, but we don't know. There's a connection, and we don't know exactly why. And I think this is played by James Marsden.
Naturally,
just to work him in.
Yeah. So
yeah, work him in, and he's a kid. Like we Irishman him, like
down to probably 10, maybe 15 years old.
Yeah, 10, 15. He is a reflection of their prime, of Shadow of Mephiles' prime. Yeah.
So I think what I'm starting to struggle with a little bit is obviously like this is like an experimental art house film, presumably produced by A24. Like I think we can land them. And I think that like I am losing sight of where does this go? Like, where do we start and where do we end with these characters? Because if this is inherently like an intimate character study of Shadow and Mephiles, like, what do we do with that?
Right.
Sure.
I can tell you what we're not going to do.
Yeah.
Well, before Alex, before you get in, we're not going to do anything that the fucking awful Avatar movie did, where we have a character in a wheelchair and then immediately make them walk again. Just in case our audiences, are fucking worried about how we'd handle that.
Yeah.
But fuck Avatar. Fuck blue people,
James Cameron's Avatar, not the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar. But we do condemn both of them, it sounds like.
We do condemn both. But
I think
I just wanted our audience to be like comforted by the fact that like, that's not going to go down here.
Totally agree. I think if we're going to put Mephiles in a wheelchair, it has to be done well. I don't think the narrative is not him like, I was bad and now I'm in a wheelchair because I was bad. You know, like that cannot be it.
And it's not that like he's totally good now because he's in a wheelchair either. It's not like that's intrinsically tied to him being, in a wheelchair.
Him being in a wheelchair is not his moral compass, you know?
Yeah.
That's not it.
I agree.
Right.
I'm glad we all agree on that.
Yeah.
So here's what this movie is going to be.
Okay.
Right. Sexy.
It's gotta be sexy. If there's one thing I know that this movie is, it's sexy.
a youthful young Chao starts working in the retirement home. Only point of reference for the ageless Shadow and the immensely powerful Mephiles is their budding sexuality. The Chao learn self-identity and explores their own sexuality.
So, yeah, okay, this is it. The whole movie is from the Chao's perspective. So you occasionally will like see the Chao in a mirror, or the Chao will like look down. So you have these scenes where like the Chao is watching Shadow and Mephiles fight, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a scene from the Chao's perspective, and it's just wanking it. And you know if the Chao's good or bad by the color of the dick.
I thought you were gonna say by the color of the spub. Anyway,
wow. Spum is not the word I would have used, Jake.
I think we gotta go in line with the rest of the movie's kind of identity and have it be very tasteful sexual exploration from the Chao.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately there's not a lot of information in the Sonic canon as to what they're like.
Well, remember when Sonic kissed that woman?
Now hold on. Chaos lay eggs. We know that. I guess that's not part of the actual sexual act. That's just the reproduction. But
right, but we know they reproduce.
They do. Little rings of flowers show up around them, and then they lay egg. Okay. So I think an important narrative factor is that Shadow and Mephiles feel what they have to connect on is that both of them are incomplete, because Shadow lost his memories and Mephiles is split from his brother Iblis.
Yeah.
And so what Mephiles wants more than anything is to rejoin with Iblis and become the sun god Solaris. And Shadow wants his girlfriend Maria back.
Yeah, who's his grave enemy's granddaughter? Robotnik's granddaughter, I think.
I think it's Robotnik's... it's technically Robotnik's...
niece?
Aunt? No.
Aunt? Well, not the Robotnik from the games. The Robotnik that made Shadow.
Gerald Robotnik.
Yeah.
It
doesn't matter. It literally...
Dr. Eggman is also a Robotnik.
Yeah.
Okay.
By some relation.
Is this all real?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I could not tell if you guys were just going off. I'll be real. Holy shit.
Oh, okay. So Eggman is Evo Robotnik.
So
yeah.
Concept. I think we've got a really tasteful exploration of what it means to be alive, what it means to be incomplete, and what it means to be deathless, and how that leads to the budding sexual exploration of a Chao.
Yeah.
What if we wrap on that one and we pitch a sequel, another spin-off concept?
Sure.
Did we just basically pitch Call Me By Your Name, but for like, furries?
For Sonic fans.
Sorry. Oh yeah, Sonic fans. That's what they like to be called now.
Well, okay. I want to there's one more thing I want to do.
Sure.
What is the most memorable dialogue from this film, from Shadows? Because I pulled up the Dr. Eggman wiki page, and the first thing on it are some quotes, and I want to read some of them to you guys.
Are you directly pitching we include these quotes in the movie?
No, I want this to inspire you guys. So listen to this.
Okay.
Listen to the
I'm thinking.
How specific they are to Sonic. Get a load of this. He's not going to get away with this. Yes.
That's really insightful dialogue.
Yeah, right?
So I was thinking actually of something similar, but really heartbreaking when you really peel it back the layers.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of using Sonic's iconic phrase against Mephiles and being like, "You're too slow," because he's in a wheelchair.
That feels bad.
It's bad.
And I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to say Mephiles to Shadow in a really deep conversation where Shadow's like, I don't remember. I need life to slow down. Mephiles would then say, gotta go fast.
Yeah, so Shadow initially says it to hurt him because we all know Shadow's a little problematic. And we can't shy away from that. He's problematic. He's a problematic character. We know what he did. I think he says it, and I think in a beautiful, beautiful turn of events, really well put, Alex. I think you're right. You got to go fast. Talking about memories, I guess. You got to think real quick about memories.
I like it.
How does this movie end so we can figure out how the next movie starts?
Which could be unrelated,
I mean, it could be, but technically, if it's a sequel, there should be some relation.
It's a reboot.
Dude, horror does it all the time.
We'll just do a reboot. It's a Mephiles Shadow Chao reboot.
Horror does do it all the time. I think it ends.
It will. Like, that, I can confirm that one.
Is this joke going to be super good? So I think it ends with an ending shot where the seat and the wheelchair and the seat that Shadow normally sits in are empty.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the vehicle that Chao always gets in to leave his shift at the end of the day. And it's just starting to get, tattered and covered with snow. And then as the credits begin to roll, you hear the sound of the snow being scraped and the engine turning on. Like, they're gone. And now the Chao's leaving too.
And then you see the Chao post-credit scene digging through some trash or whatever, really like looking over.
Getting some trash.
And finding a gun. And then it's immediate cut to black.
Dun, dun, dun.
Alice is like, that's an Easter egg for the audience because obviously we know that's like teasing Shadow with a gun. It doesn't necessarily, we don't have to go that route, but it teases it. It sets it up.
Okay.
Wait.
Here's the thing. That's the end of this movie. The next movie is Shadow and Mephiles team up, and Shadow has a gun, and Mephiles has a tricked out wheelchair, and aliens invade.
So perfect, love it. So that ends. They find the gun, and then we get a black screen, white text that says Shadow and Mephiles will return.
And then
guys, the aliens kidnap the Chao. And Mephiles and Shadow have to team up to get it back.
Well, here's the thing. We have to consider, everything is purposeful in our film. Everything. Mm-hmm. So why was the gun in the trash? Shadow's trying to turn a new leaf here and won't use the gun for at least the first 2/3 of the movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's poetic. It's poetic.
And then they talk him into picking that blicky back up.
Yeah, it's like the plot of the A-Team where they say, "Hey, don't be violent, or you're the most violent person we know, Baracus. Get a new haircut," and then they convince him to snap a dude's neck. It's the same thing.
Same concept.
Yeah.
So controversial. I want either Shadow or Mephiles to die 2/3 of the way through the film.
I think Shadow dies the first third of the movie. And then Mephiles...
How is he going to use his gun in the second half?
How do you use the gun? You have to use the gun.
Fake out death?
According to the story of Mephiles, we know that resurrection exists because Mephiles kills Sonic and then Sonic comes back.
We don't speak his name.
Yeah, we don't have the rights.
We can't say Sonic throughout the entire movie. Can't say Sonic. So I think Shadow dies in the first third of the movie. Mephiles completes the mission and gets the Chao. They're escaping. Mephiles dies. Suddenly, the Chao is trying to get away, being chased by aliens, runs into a room full of glass tubes. Giant glass tanks. What's inside the glass tanks? It's 30 more Shadow the Hedgehogs. And all of them have guns.
Oh, shit.
Nice concepts. Like where we're going. So yeah, that's great.
Matt, you're talking like an executive producer.
Thank you. That's what I do best.
Right.
I do think being an executive producer on this, we need to think about the marketability. And how can we secure a highly profitable crossover? And who are we bringing in?
You can't sell toys if Shadow has a gun. You can't.
McDonald's toys. There are 30 different Shadow the Hedgehogs, and you have to collect each one.
Yeah, but who else? So look, I'm trying to get some of that Fortnite money. Maybe we have Jonesy Fortnite show up in the movie.
Well, why don't we just partner with Fortnite and make Shadow the Hedgehog one of the Fortnite characters?
I would love to.
Is he not already? I really don't know.
Honestly, by the time this episode comes out, he probably
I'm sure
is.
He will be.
Dude, what if they put James Marsden in Fortnite?
And it's just like a photorealistic version of him. And he just constantly, how did I end up here?
What if the aliens are all James Marsden?
Oh, wait. Okay. So there's a sick ass scene where the Chao like shoots one in the chest and it like collapses down. Normally they just, I don't know, fucking explode when they die, but this one doesn't. And they pull off this gross, like crazy mask to reveal it's actually just James Marsden.
So, wait, okay. Now my question here is this insinuating that when the aliens die, they explode, and this one alien just happened to be James Marsden in a costume? Or are all the aliens James Marsden, and this is the first one they've captured?
First one they captured, non-fatal kill shot.
Okay.
Missed the heart.
I like the idea that throughout the movie, all the aliens are James Marsden. Mm-hmm. And it's hinting that cloning is what they're doing, and that they're all alien clones of James Marsden. And that's hinting at when Shadow comes back.
Okay. And so there's the big scene, the big 30 shadows, whatever. Climax, what I'm envisioning. We get an original Shadow resurrected. There's this sick scene, and you hear the intro riff to Escape from the City start playing as like Shadow whoops in, saves the Chao, and just blasts a clone of himself right in the head with a gun. He just shoots a clone of himself square between the eyes, and then has a sick ass one-liner.
Can he have cool angel wings too? So he's like coming back and he's like Angel Shadow, but he's got a gun.
Yeah, I like that.
Hell yeah.
And then he just, as Escape from the City plays, him and the Chao just blast through everything, literally ending lives, with no time to deal with the repercussions of what it means to end 600 lives in a matter of minutes.
Reviewers will say, "Oh, this is a far departure from the first film," but honestly, they haven't heard of a little thing called subtext. So come on. I mean, really, this all could be a comatose fever dream. We'll use that little trope, and
guys,
Chao.
Here's how we explain it.
Well, I have give your explanation, and then I'm going to reveal my dastardly plot.
Well, here's my dastardly plot. The reason it's a far departure is because it's not just a sequel. This is part 2 of a trilogy.
A third movie.
The third movie. At the end of this one, Shadow's killed everyone.
Yeah.
He's got the gun. You do like the Batman ending of like, I need to retire because I've like grown into something that they don't need. Like something like that. Whatever.
I'm too big to physically fit inside of this city any longer.
Yeah, he's grown.
We see a single Shadow clone dragging away a giant test tube. Third movie, Shadow fights an army of shadows with a gun.
Okay. So how did that rationalize the far departure? Just
because the first movie was setting up the trilogy.
Well, here's how I rationalize it, Jake. All in one fell swoop. So the final movie, I think a big piece of it can be shadow fighting, tons of shadows. Love it. Great. Here's how I rationalize it. The ending I described, so poetic, so nice. Mm-hmm. Stolen. I stole it from I'm thinking of ending things.
Yep.
So, big brain, all in the Chao's head the whole time.
All in the Chao's head.
Oh, and the Chao is an old man in the home?
And Shadow's taking care of him.
A comatose fever dream. That's what I said.
I'm linking it back to you.
Yeah. And then Charlie Kaufman shows up.
Actual Charlie Kaufman.
He's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Is Charlie Kaufman going to play himself, or are we going to have
he's playing
Nicolas
John Malkovich.
Cage play him?
Oh, yeah.
Or Charlie Kaufman plays Charlie Kaufman playing Nicolas Cage playing Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah, I think that's probably appropriate. Honestly, that makes sense.
You think we can get Charlie Kaufman into Fortnite?
Yeah, I think that a lot of the third movie should be spent teaching Sonic how to swim, and like that's like the second half struggle, or like teaching all the characters just how to swim, and it's like a metaphor for like the game when they get really scared because they don't know how to swim.
That's really sweet.
Yeah,
because if you,
it's a metaphor.
Can you drown
Jake,
the Chaos?
Can you wait? No, hold on, Jake. Will you explain metaphors, please?
Yeah, it's a metaphor because they're in the water and it's really scary.
Jake.
Yeah.
Do you know how to swim?
I hear the Sonic sound whenever I go swimming. I hear the little Sonic sound.
Jake, what do you think that sound?
And then you die.
Okay.
God, I thought you guys played the Sonic games, but clearly not. I guess you guys aren't professionals.
No, I wanted you to do the sound because then I'm going to put the real sound in post and we're going to compare.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be very bad.
So if we're talking about learning to swim,
thank God.
Pitch, what other early video gaming mascot needs to learn how to swim? And I think you get Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, we getting Crash Bandicoot in this?
Are we mixing media?
Okay.
Now?
Yeah. You know what? I just had an epiphany. So
Dude.
the third movie in 3 parts. Part 1, Shadow fights Shadow. Shadow learn that Shadow is in a comatose dream inside the Chao's mind. Breaks out. Suddenly, Shadow's real out of the Chao's mind. Then they teach Sonic and friends how to swim because they all come out of the Chao's mind. Then part 3, we get there's a big bad. Turns out it's the Chao the whole time. Or maybe it's Mephiles again in a bigger wheelchair. And they have to have like a Avengers portal scene, or for those of us enlightened folks that know the real origin, the Spy Kids 3D scene. And they call in all the people. Like Crash Bandicoot shows up, Jak and Daxter show up, maybe Mario.
They all don't know how to swim, or they all have died in water before. And then it just ends by, like, the villain being like, all right, fine. And then they bring all the water to them and, like, pour it down. And just as you're like, oh, God, they're going to die. They're fucked. Oh, no. Who saves them?
Familia.
Yeah.
You just hear, as the water level continues to rise.
Engine of a car.
The water level rising. You guys think all this swim training was for nothing. They're all going to drown anyway. And then, as you're describing, Alex, you hear the rev of an engine and you hear, Mi Familia.
Let's rock on. How has Vin Diesel not been in the Sonic games? They both go fast.
They do go fast.
Is that the next
natural marriage?
Is that the next Fast and Furious movie? They go to space and then they go to Sonic.
They go to space and meet Sonic.
Is Sonic an alien?
No, he's from the Green Hill Zone.
Technically, in this movie series, he is an alien.
Yeah.
If he's on Earth.
Well, I guess no, it's Seattle. We know that it's on Earth.
Oh, if we're talking about the movies.
Well, no, because he transports there from the ring world. So, like, he's
exactly.
an alien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's from the Green Hill Zone.
Yeah.
So, Sonic can run real fast. We know in the movies he can do like a Quicksilver type scene. I don't know how to ask this.
Please.
With your heart.
If Sonic reached his little arm down your throat, or in another orifice.
Okay. Wait. No.
Wait.
Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. You had the moment of you don't know how to ask this. I want you to ask the question, should you ask this?
Yeah, I think I need to. He reaches his little arm down your throat. If he just starts moving it really fast, could he really stir your insides?
Did you guys
That's
ever
how
watch?
Thanos should have died. Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch the CW Flash TV show? Because the evil guy in that, the Reverse Flash, he does a cool move where he vibrates his hand really fast and then puts it inside you and then stops and instantly kills you.
Whoa!
So
there needs to be at least 3 scenes of that happening in our movies.
Yeah.
And that's all in the first one. That's all in the that's all in the Indie Darling first one.
Yeah.
They call it a real heart stopper. Yeah.
Because he literally stops those poor people's hearts.
Yeah.
I explained the joke.
They're poor. They're poor. They're not rich. They're not
it is strictly a financial thing that they're murdered for.
Because they took a BuzzFeed test and they saw that they didn't pick coins as their superpower.
Guys, what if Shadow owns the old folks' home?
Maybe he does. Well, it's so okay. We're several layers into like the post-meta irony of it all. Shadow owns the old folks' home that he regularly visits, where Mephiles is, that the Chao works at, but the Chao is actually in a coma at an old folks' home. Does Shadow own that old folks' home?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, but Shadow came out of the Chao's head from the dream.
Well, so our initial concept, remember, was
the
Chao. The Chao it's all from the Chao's perspective. So the Chao is in a coma, and what we see is what the Chao is absorbing in the world around it in its coma. And so at the end of the final movie, the real fight is Shadow emerging from the Chao's head versus real Shadow, capitalist, who owns the old folks home.
Oh shit! And he sees that you're just a shadow of your former self, literally.
And does Dom Toretto show up or not?
Yeah, he comes also out of the Chao's head.
I think so. Yeah, Shadow drives out of the Chao's head in Dom's car.
Dude, and then all of a sudden, like, water starts flying out of the head. It's like basically a never ending, because it's a metaphor.
Wait, okay. Can we call the first one Shadows? The second one is Shadows Unloaded, because he's got his gun and he pulling the trigger. And then the third one is Shadows Reloaded, just because I think it sounds cool.
Yeah, Reloaded Tokyo Drift. I think
Shadows Tokyo Drift.
So if we had to guess the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter audience score and reviewer score of each movie.
So I think the first one is going to divide audiences for sure. I think, but Rotten Tomatoes is going to eat that shit up. I think we're going to get a critics rating of about 80. You know, it's going to surprise people. Like, it's going to be like audiences really like it, or like not audience, critics really like it. But I think audiences give it 59, 60, like somewhere in that area.
I was going to say about 65.
65, like somewhere in that area. And that it's enough to get a sequel. And that's what we really wanted as filmmakers, so we can get whatever. We wanted no oversight. We wanted to make our arty shit so we can make our real shit.
Because that's always how. That's always how being a filmmaker goes.
So that way we could get to do what we wanted.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone knows art house films are immensely profitable, and every time they give you unlimited budget to do whatever you want next.
I can think of actually one real life example where that actually happened. Do y'all know this? I feel like y'all know this.
Avengers Infinity War?
Yeah. No, yeah. No, Damien Chazelle made Whiplash only to fund La La Land.
That's
like 100%. He just made like an actual art house, whatever. It got really popular and like, do whatever you want, Damien Chazelle, and he made fucking La La Land.
I believe you've told me that specific fact before.
Yeah,
is the only reason I know that.
We're the Damien Chazelles of the Sonic franchise, and I think you know.
So second one, we have embraced what we wanted to make, this sick-ass action film in 3 parts, huge character deaths, just uproarious status quo change. I don't think critics love it.
No.
I think critics think
this shit.
Critics think that us making it was selling out.
Yeah.
But they don't understand this is what we wanted all along.
But the audience score goes way up because people are like, this is hilarious.
I think it's a 90.
Yeah.
And... So, okay, yeah. So like a 90,
and it's
then
a box office darling. I think this makes the most money out of the whole trilogy.
Totally agree.
I do.
And
I totally agree.
If we could resurrect Roger Ebert, I think he'd give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Which, if we could talk to Shadow about it, I don't know. We'll see what's up.
And then final movie. Where does that one go?
I think final movie. Critics were like, "Oh, I get what they're doing with this now,"
and it goes
back up.
Circle.
It goes back up, and it's at like an 80. And then I think the fans like it, but it's not as good as the last one, so it goes down to 82.
I think that it's like, you know, the critics try to think that I was always a part of the joke, like I was always a part of the ride, and so they kind of like, you'll find reviewers being like, I loved it, I totally get the Sonic franchise, but you'll find the review of the second or the first, and they're like shitting on it. But it's just because everyone's having a sick-ass fucking time, and they don't realize that you just need to have a sick fucking time sometimes at the movies.
Hell yeah. Cool. I think that's $1 billion idea, baby. I think that the Sonic...
that's our asking price. We want $1 billion.
Actually, this is where you just found out, audience. By listening to this episode, you've agreed to write that check. You will be giving us $1 billion to make this. Checkmate, movie executive that I sent this episode to. This is legally binding.
Hell yeah. More like give us a checkmate. Am I right? Nice.
Wait, guys, full circle. That's why this is mandatory listening.
Oh, shit.
We're wait, Alex. Say that, but say it really confidently, and then cut it to make it look like we planned that all along.
And that's why this episode is mandatory listening.
Damn, boom! We got him.
We fucking got you guys.
Audience, dumb idiots. Now you have to pay for us to make a movie. Give us $1 billion, please.
So three movies.
So off record, which one of us is tying James Marsden to the chair, making him listen to this, so he has to be a part of the movie?
I actually already got into his Twitter account.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And you tweeted out, "Hey guys, gonna be in the Shadows movies."
You just wait. The second we release this episode, James Marsden's gonna like tweet something really problematic, just like perfect timing, and I'm gonna be like, "It was only a joke."
God, please no, please not, James Marsden. Please. He's the Tough Cuts darling.
Please.
Unironically, up there with Gore Verbinski is a dream guest.
He's directing at least one of these.
So I think so. Mm-hmm. I definitely got producer credits on all three.
Do we have anything else to say about this? I kind of think we've exhausted the potential of the Shadows franchise.
Well, look, we figured out the key creatives. Casting, I think, already it does itself. Yeah. We already know. We don't even have to say. Like, it's just a game.
Well, I guess one important question that I don't think speaks for itself is who's voicing Shadow.
Shadow is. Wait, Shadow not real?
Yeah.
wait.
Alex, did you not watch the Sonic movies? You think that Sonic? Who you think that's a character?
My brain just broke. I literally have no response to the words that you guys are saying. I do not know.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. We have Shadow play Shadow.
Yeah, we have Patrick Stewart plays the Chao.
Yeah. And then we, get some up and coming Australian actor to play Mephiles.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I said up and coming. We also said we're going the Logan route. Come on, guys. Like, this has all been set up the whole time.
Guys. It's a full circle podcast. It's a full circle podcast. Work.
Yeah, it's called a perfect trilogy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, audience. That, we're making 3 of these Sonic Pitch bonus episodes.
Stay tuned next week. Part 2 of our Sonic Pitch.
We made the prequel trilogy. Now we need to make the sequel trilogy. And then
then we'll make another prequel trilogy just for fun.
Well, because the sequel trilogy is gonna have different characters. Like, it's gonna have this is only half the characters in the sequel trilogy. So then the other half of characters will need the other half. They'll need their own prequel trilogy that will come out after the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm. And here's what we'll give you before we sign off today, audience. Big the Cat is gonna be in it.
I can't believe you just gave that away. What a spoiler.
Yeah, I mean,
we said we were going to be spoiling things.
I did.
Jake did do his thing.
I did it. I did my due diligence.
We got to prime them if they're going to be listening to 3 hours of these.
And they're going to be listening. It's mandatory listening.
Mandatory listening.
With that, if you enjoyed today's show, you do owe us $1 billion. So send this episode to someone who can help you fund our $1 billion project. Hopefully your richest friends.
Because if you get 2 people who then can help you pay for $1 billion, then they each get 2 people. Eventually, everyone in the whole world is paying us $1 billion, and this gets made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Rate, review, comment on all of your favorite podcast listening platforms. We're on social media at ToughCutPod on all of your favorites.
And only 2 of your least favorites.
I don't know, what else do we say?
Only 2 of them.
Yeah, we're really sorry we're on those social medias, but gotta have internet presence. I don't know what we're doing next week, because who knows when this episode's coming out.
You'll never know. It could be 5 years from now. 5 years from us recording this.
Release from the vault.
Yeah.
Because we're just going to be making bangers after We could release part 3 of the Sonic Pitch before we release this one.
Wait, guys, what if we literally save this until Sonic 3 comes out?
Who knows how long that'll be?
Probably like a year or so.
I give it a year, 2 years.
Yeah, probably.
I bet it's already written.
Yeah.
And I bet that there's some exec out there that's currently pitching a spinoff called Shadow that centers on Mephiles and Shadow. I'm that exec.
Say, like, what if we actually, like, release this and then fucking,
we should copyright this.
We should copyright, because, like, what if they get ideas? And I don't want them to get ideas.
I actually think big legal over there at Paramount and at Team Sonic actually are already sending a cease and desist. So if you hear this, it's because we won the lawsuit.
Pirate Radio, baby. Yeah. That's us. Pirate Radio. Right? That's the plot of I don't know. It's a metaphor. Look it up. It's a...
Be kind and rewind this episode
let's do it again.
before you return it.
If you